everyone, still the 21st of June. It's kind of following on from the last video, so it's just generally going to be harvesting some bits, not in any great detail because you've seen me pick these before, so I'll probably put a bit of music on or something like that to speed some bits up. But first thing I'm going to do is get these Brussels sprouts out of here. Got some water in the tray down here. I'm going to let them soak in that for a bit because I don't really want to be leaving them unattended. Cabbage whites will be hanging around. I can't remember how many I've got, to be honest. I was going to scrap them, but I thought, you know what, stuff it, I'll keep them. So I decided to put roots through the bottom of the pot now. So there is that little bit of an extra option for them, should they need it. We'll get a bit of airflow and we'll start getting any sort of mildewy stuff on the leaves and that. I say it's time at the moment to get that space clear to get him in the final place. Which, like I say, I'm kind of looking at that bed down the other end where the collie and broccoli and everything is at the moment. I just don't think they do that well at the plot for some reason in the fruit cage. I've already got a net made for that. I just need to put the hoops in and that. But you know, you've seen me do these before, but these, like I said, these Clarion, not a big fan for a cut and come again. So soon I'll have the iceberg ready to go in. So I'm just going to simply lop them off. I could leave the root balls in, but I'm not going to. Just going to try and get them out. I mean, it's quite dry, but it's not bone dry. Obviously, they'd have gone to seed or something by now. I don't mind the fibrous bits of roots. The thing is, you've got that exposed ground, and I'm not quite ready to plant anything in yet. Pick them up after. Go in the compost heap. Simply just smooth it out in the hand. Pick any weeds out as I go along. And I'll pop them down in some water after. Just put them across there. Now somewhere so I don't stab myself. And then grab another tray. I mean, you can get a hell of a lot of lettuce off a small area. So if you don't eat a lot of lettuce, obviously I've got a pet tortoise, you know, which uses a lot of lettuce, and you can eat it that much. So I've been picking these right down. Otherwise, it's quite easy to get lots of big leaves and become kind of overrun with them. You know, we'd use some rains. So we're gonna not bothered watering these. I didn't really want to speed up the growth on these, to be honest. I thought, well, I've still got some of the last lot left. The rocket's starting to ease up a bit now, but I gave it a right good pick a few days ago. So hopefully the rains will spring a last spurt, you know, growth spurt in them, and then I've got some seedlings that hopefully will be ready in a few weeks and go out. So there'll be a little bit of a gap where the rocket is. I don't know if it's going in the same place. I think that one a bit smaller than I'd like, but I don't know whether you can see. We'll go on with the rest of these. As I say, you've seen me do this before. And the whole washing it was in a previous video. Just bag it up and whack it in the fridge. Right, so these romaine lettuce at the end here I just harvest as a full sort of heart cabbage. Same again, because I've got a member of the brassicas in this bed. Then I'm going to just have to be a little bit careful, watching don't get any butterflies go in. It was actually forecast to chuck it down today, but it doesn't look like it. There's a bit of cloud in the sky, but nothing bad. So I'm going to take a couple of the Durham early spring grains, just for a bit of space up, and start using them now. So they're not massive, but just like I said, just for greens. There's another one over there I'll get as well. I'll just pop these over here for now. A couple of them, do a bit of nice eating, unless if cane beats us to it, and then just a couple of these remain. Just cut them off, ground level. All I do is just clean them up a little bit at the bottoms. You know, it's a decent size remain. A couple of days and get these other two out, and then I'll get this all replanted up. I'm going to wait for the actual rains to arrive, I think. So there's a little bit of like bleaching on the leaves. It's got a bit white. Obviously that's just lack of light and sort of older leaves. Just a couple of them. You know, so like Kane will quite happily eat one of them each day. Well, he'd eat more if I let him. Just a constant eating machine. It just gives you a chance to get around the bottom of these other ones. Give a bit of a clean. Just somewhere less for slugs to hide if you haven't got any foliage on the ground, so to speak. Down there, the rest of the stuff at compost bin. A little potato sprout in there. They always pop up. Not too bad for weeds. So I think grass is the worst thing, to be honest. I need to weed these paths. Do them one evening after work. Because paths are somewhere that the old slugs will quite happily hide. And these are going to get ready to go to seed soon. Like the Grenoble Red, which is over in this bed. It's coming to the end now. It's trying to heart. So I mean, it's desperate to get a seed spike up. So I'll also just hang fire before I sow any more of them. It's just kind of seeing what space there is, and if there's space, put a few lettuce in, radish, things like that, just to fill that bit of a gap. I mean, like I said, when things go to seed, you can still pick some of the outer foliage and just keep nipping that seed spike off, and just give you a little bit of an extra bonus pick while you're waiting for seedlings to catch up. This is a red salad bowl, this variety. Needs a bit more room than others because it is quite a large plant. It's not too bad once it gets off the ground. I mean, this is like nearly a foot high. It just adds a little bit of colour to the plate. I'll probably have a bit of a clear around the bottom of these spring greens as well while I'm here. Some yellow leaves around the bottom. Just somewhere for slugs to hide, and then you start getting aphids under there as well. Around the other side now, pick them. So you can use pretty much any lettuce as a cut and come again. I just find it's a bit more get more use out of the space rather than having to sow one, plant one, grow one, pick it and do that whole process where you can kind of know when it's getting near time to sow another one. Just keep picking whatever you can until you sort of decide to sacrifice that plant and put one in ready. You know, and then you give you a little bit of a gap, which is handy because then you can start attacking some of the actual veg like the broccoli and that. You know, because you can grow, there's still a long time for salad yet in this season. You know, you've got right up until sort of September, October easy. You know, so you can start doing your endives and your chicories and your radicchio and that sort of thing. Them sort of lettuce, cost lettuce, they'll all grow again. You know, there's all the other leafy greens like chard, spinach, rocket. Rocket likes the cool weather. I mean, that one's quite tall because obviously it's been looking for the light, but I don't mind, it keeps it off the ground. When you pick them, they're nice and clean, they're not covered in mud. So I'll just throw these in a water tub and they can have a bit of a soak while I clean my greens up. Hopefully get through these greens reasonably soon. I think that'll do for picking them. One more big leaf over there, I'll get that. So, because I've got a lot of lettuce I've picked off these, which you'll see me through. And obviously, if you pick them back, it gives you more time. Obviously, there's going to be a rainfall, so they'll have a good drink, and then suddenly springtime. I mean, they start sprouting down the bottom. You clean them up. You clean the trunk up if you want. Right, I'll go and put these in some water. Right, I'm down the allotment. I was going to come last night after doing some harvesting in the back garden, but I'm too tired, you know. So I thought I'll come today. I was supposed to be working today, but there's been a bit of a mess up at work, so I ended up here. So it's bonus because it's not raining. It's due to rain, but I don't mind. It's not raining at the moment, and it's nice and calm. It's not blowing a gale, so I can try and get on with as much as I can today. Because I'm not going to be able to get here again probably till the end of the week. So we'll have a look round, see how things have gone. You know, because obviously last time I was down here filming was probably 3 weeks ago, something like that, around 3 weeks. And so a lot's grown in 3 weeks, especially like regarding potatoes and peas. You know, they've really pumped on. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll have a quick look around. I'm going to start harvesting some stuff, and then obviously I've got to make some decisions. Always coming next couple of weeks, you know, what to sacrifice and say enough's enough. They've had long enough, and it's more beneficial to put a second crop in and give that a longer time than you trying to hope for a bit of a, you know, sort of a measly sort of harvest from everything that got set back, you know, from the cold and obviously the other problems I had earlier in the year with compost. But we'll have a look round and go from there. Right, so I'll just put you through the fruit cage sort of netting. There's a random courgette down there planted I had left over, so if it grows, it's a bonus plant. Blueberries, there is some berries, but there's not going to be many this year. because obviously the frost set them back, because it kind of went into a bit of an autumn colour again. Obviously the green back up, fresh growth, so they might try and do a late bloom, I don't know. But I get what I get off them. You know, that mulch I put on obviously kept some weeds. I did dig, you know, a 2 spade wide trench here, turned it all over and that, because I was going to plant my sprouts here. But it's optional, I can put something there, so I might bring my dwarf French beans up and put them there. Like I say, it's been turned over and it's got some compost on it, which is the compost that's been brought on site. There's another big pile, so I've loaded up what I can on here, but I'm going to try and get some more before it all goes, because it don't have to go quick. It's a bit hot, but should be alright as a mulch. These are some leftover brassicas, surplus that I put in here. Not come to much. They were just sort of planted directly in. There was no real digging or fancy prep work for them. You know, broccoli plants. They've got little heads on, nothing much. I didn't expect much, to be honest. But it's kept the butterflies and everything off. Just the slugs have had a bit of a go. You know, like I said, the strawberries are still not great. You know, there's a lot of patchy. You know, I can probably run some of them. I might just like loop that round and plant that. And I can dig them up at the end of the year. You can get some roots down this year, and I'll just stop them from fruiting. Try and, you know, get a bigger crown on them. Raspberries are a little bit patchy, but they're sort of tickling along. I'm not expecting anything off them this year, to be honest, but like I said, they'll probably end up getting sort of dug up or moved either at home, or they might end up in the fruit cage. You know, the fruit cages, I'm going to try and crowd the fruit cage up a bit more, you know, try and keep the blueberry bushes small, and then that's the idea anyway. And obviously I've got the plan is for 2 other beds to go here. The beans, which you saw me plant in the last video, they've done all right. They've grown. I had one that died, but like I said in the last video, is I went through and I pushed a seed in with each one as well. So some of them have got 2 plants, and obviously, you know, slightly, I don't know what you can see, but there is another one that started down there. So luckily I put another one in, and that'll take over. There's a few flowers started to, you know, buds and everything down at the bottom end there, so it don't be long and the beans will come. Just hoping the winds stay away so they can tap round. I mean, when I come down later on in the week, I might put a little bit more wire around these at the top. It definitely helped them being in them bigger pots to get them going, I think, because we've had no rain. They've not been watered since I planted them, so they must be struggling, because it is so dry on here now. You know, the raised beds are cracking, and you have gaps you can put your finger in and everything. There were some sweet peas, and they've rooted down. Really dry, but, you know, like I say, a lot of plants don't need that much water, and they'll be sending roots right down to find it. I cut all this asparagus off when I was down a few days ago. That's kind of growing back. So I'll take that, because it's not too high. You know, it's not going to be too woody, or it'll be nice and tender, that, so I'll take them today. I am taking a fair bit off them this year. You know, usually I'd let them grow, but I'll dig them up at the end of the year and I'll take them home. And if they fire up again for next year, I can start picking them at home then. Peas have gone absolutely mad, full of pods. So when this rain comes, it'll obviously help them plump up. I need a good weed on here, really. You know, clearing the path. But I don't want to be spraying weed killer about at the moment. You know, I know it's not great using weed killer, but if I let the grass grow, I tend to have more problem with the leather jackets then, so I want to try and keep the grass down. It's places for slugs to hide when the rains come. The spuds, there's a few that look a bit dodgy, like, you know, whether it's some sort of like black leg type thing or something. But I can't see anything that kind of resembles blight. And say it shouldn't be here yet. We haven't met the full criteria. You know, humidity-wise, temperature-wise, it's bang on. But they were sprayed the other night when I came down with the JBA Blight Guard. They were sprayed, not heavily, because obviously I can't get in there and spray underneath, but need some rain to swell these Duke Yorks up so I can get them out and harvest down them peas, because they're probably only like 3 weeks and they'll start going a bit chunky, and then I can sell some more peas ready for another run. That's the idea. We'll look at all the brassicas and everything in a minute. So the sweet corn, it's grown, it's holding its own at the moment. It seems to be okay. Just need a bit of a weeding in there, and I might top dress it with a bit of compost and see how that goes. And we have these Rigoletto and the Golden Acre cabbage. These are Rigoletto. They're sort of tickling along. They need clearing around the bottoms. The Golden Acre struggled, really struggled. You know, so that's what I've got to watch. I've got like daddy long legs, his crane fly under here, and these are what the leather jackets are. You know, so I don't want these getting trapped in here and obviously mating, laying their eggs, because obviously they can't get out. So you've got a little, they're protected in there, but they can, you know, run riot. So that's the only problem with the netting. Once they're in there, they kind of get trapped, and then the cycle's kind of protected. Onions, not been a good year for onions. You know, they're starting to die off. It's a similar thing to I had last year. You know, so I'm going to pull anything that looks suspect. I'm going to pull out today, because it does look like it has like a bit of an epicenter, and then it starts to spread out in places. So I need to get them out, you know, because there's a couple that started bulking, but I'm not expecting a great batch of onions this year, you know, because these obviously they nearly died off at the beginning of the year. These did. So if I get some, then fine. I've always done all right for onions usually, apart from one year where I had bad floods, but you know, it's one of them things. Get them out, and then something else can go in. I need to top that bed up, but that compost's a bit rich, so I might just put an inch or two on top of it. Beetroot's coming on nice. Spring onions, need to take some more of them. Last time I just picked like a few out to take the bigger ones. Garlic seems to be okay. I'm going to give them a bit of a seaweed feed today. Shouldn't imagine when this rain comes if we're going to start with rust and that, I don't know, but nothing's sending a bit of a seed spark up yet. But it's just so dry. You know, I don't know how well you can see, but there's like a crack here. You know, I can put my finger down, which isn't going to help things. I've had a little feel, they're not very big at all. Broccoli, I've just timed this about right anymore. I can't leave it anymore. It's gonna start blowing. So I'm just going to cut all them heads off today, tidy the plants up, mulch around the bottoms, take some side shoots until I decide to pull the plants out, which will probably be only a couple of weeks really. And then I've got a vacant bed and I can load it up again with broccoli or collie. I'll probably go for collie. It just depends what the seedlings are like at home, you know, how it's for keeping them. Whichever one starts stressing first will be the first to come up. Cauliflower, I can only see one head and it's on a bit of a stunted plant over there. I lost one over there, but they are starting to twist in the middle, so I expect heads to form over the next week or so maybe 3 weeks max. Kind of takes you sort of start of July, get them out and get another run of collie or broccoli or cabbage in there. So like I say, I'm just gonna harvest everything, get on with some work, and then, you know, we'll have a look at what I've harvested later on and whatever work I've done. Hopefully the weather stays okay, but like I say, that broccoli, I can't leave it any longer. You know, I don't want to just take a few heads. I might as well just take the lot off. And they'll chuck out side shoots for a few weeks, get rid of all dead foliage around the bottom, and then try and mulch round them just with some of that compost. I've got some of the compost here, I'll show you it. I loaded one side of my compost bin up with it, and I've got a big mound of it under there. I thought I might as well try and get some stuff when I do these beds later in the year. And this is it basically. You know, it's just green waste, but I think it's safe enough to use. As long as it's got no nasty in it. But like I say, if I put it on as a mulch, it's like a layer about an inch thick. When the rains come, it'll also help keep that moisture in the ground, and things can come up and feed on it. You know, but it's just if there is anything bad in it, it'll affect the next batch of plants. But it's a risk I'm willing to take. You know, as long as I don't cake it on too thick, and it won't get hot. You know what I mean? It's pretty well broken down now, to be honest. There's a few twigs in it. It's got a right sweet smell to it as well. So plus it'll help, obviously, you know, my ceiling if there's any wood-based stuff in it. But I can't knock it for free. I'm quite happy. I'd rather use this and lug a load over myself anyway from home. You know, when there's a big sort of 30-foot by 12-foot pile of it been brought on site. I'm quite glad of it for all the years I've brought stuff over. Right, so we'll crack on. So we'll try and get these sunflowers in today. I've got the 6 of the Titans. We've got room for, I think, 4 on my little frame I made, but I might put 1 each side of the shed, just see how they do. And they'll do something, but they won't do wonders, because slugs and snails do like them, so they'll be climbing up them. And what will be with them. Right, I shall crack on. Right, I've been on here about 6 hours now, so I did a bit more than I intended to. Ended up clearing the pass with a hoe and that, which was proper time consuming. So I had a bit of an harvest, and that's the broccoli heads. So there's, what, 32 in there. Nothing massive, you know, there's some right little ones, probably about 3 inch, and then up to these, probably about more like 4.5, 5 inch. There's the odd bigger one like, but nothing massive. So, and I've top dressed the cauliflower bed and the broccoli bed with some of that compost. Only about 1 inch maximum, because it is a bit warm. So just hope it doesn't do them any harm. But I've given a good water as well with a bit of liquid seaweed, just to cool it off a little bit. I did have it sort of spread out for a little while, just to let it cool down to sort of air temperature, because I took it out in the middle of the pile sort of thing. Hopefully they'll be okay. So it's all weeded, and most of the dead foliage is taken off. The old heads are cut, so it's just a case of sprouting. Oh, there was one that I didn't cut actually because it wasn't big enough, so there's still one to put a proper head on yet, but just wait for side shoots now until I sort of call it a day, rip them out and put the next batch in. Cauliflower, when I was watering, one just snapped off, like the half the stem was chewed through, so it is what it is, and just see how they go. If they start forming heads, I've left that little head in over there, I'm not bothered with that. And I'll just sort of hope for the best for them. So they're all sort of cleared, mulched around and that. Garlic, I've given a little bit of a seaweed feed. I've not really heavily watered any of the beds, you know, because it's going to rain anyway, so that'll wash a lot of the seaweed down as well. And hopefully things will start bulking up. Pulled some spring onions and whatnot, and some asparagus, so we'll have a look at them again in a minute. Like I say, I'll pass. Alright, clear with the hoe, just scuffed all the grass off, got the worst of it off. I've kind of hilled some of it up down there, because there's creeping buttercup on this land, you know, it's absolutely rife with, I don't know, you can see all the yellow flowers, you know, which is alright, but when you've got grazing animals, it doesn't do much good. So it just kind of to stop that coming through, and the rest of it I've just sort of lobbed down here, and then if it starts sprouting I can just put some weed killer on along that border, and then sort of sling it back on my paths near the end of the year, you know, just to level them out, find little pockets, because it is a bit lumpy bumpy. So I think I'll just gradually hoe it off a bit, you know, through the rest of the season. It'll level off a bit. Same in here, give them a bit of a clean up, mulch around them. There's a lot of weeds in that, and it was really dry, that bed. Sweet corn, I've just sort of had a knockabout with the hoe. That's about all I've done really. Don't seem like a lot, but it's taken hours actually hoeing all these paths. And then I thought, well, I'll get some more of that compost and stash it on my plot. So I've got another 12 barrel loads, and put it down there. I've kind of spaced it off that bed just in case it gets a bit warm. I don't want it touching the beans, and I'm leaving that open because let it sort of rain go on it and wash it through a bit and mellow it out, and then that can go on top of the onion and garlic bed when I'm ready, you know, to plant them up with the next batch. So like I say, sunflowers are in, the Titan there and a Titan there. Just put a little cane in them. I'll put some longer sort of supports up to the top of the shed, providing the slugs leave them alone. Put these other 4 over here. Look, there's like a little shrew or something. Little mouse kept poking up through a hole earlier on, so it seems to have gone now. Probably doesn't help when it's had 10 litres of water thrown all over it, but hopefully they'll grow and do alright. Say beans there are okay, I'll leave them be for now. So I'll bring some wire with me next time, just probably tie around the tops a bit more just to make sure, just in case we get any high winds. Bit of a weed of the strawberry bed. So I mean, these spring onions are Guardsmen. Not massive, but I kind of prefer them a little bit smaller than that, to be honest. You know, sort of pencil size I like them, and then just asparagus. I just basically lopped it all off. I was going to put some of that compost on here, but I've had enough for today. So I'm going to go home and have a few days off from gardening and probably do some music stuff, but I mean, I've got work as well. So on that note, I don't actually know what's actually on this video, whether I've put everything on or not. I don't know, because I've done bits of footage, so I'll probably compile it in one way or another. And then next video will be probably planting some stuff out, but obviously potato harvest as well. Might come up and put my dwarf French beans in the fruit cage, because that needs a bit of a hand weed. Well, I'm not doing that today. Like I say, I can come down, you know, in about 4 days, just see how things are. Hopefully, you know, the rains have been, and I can start having a look at things. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.